Voted the most popular character in any and every poll, debuted in Season 1, and is basically viewed as the main character when he isn't part of the big three. Ladies and gentlemen, the character that has carried my channel, Levi Ackerman. This video is a character analysis on him, so just a heads up, this contains things in the manga, so there will be spoilers later in the video. I'll put a time on the screen to show where the spoilers are, and I'll give a quick 15-second break before the spoilers section of this video. A lot of shonen anime have a male character that's considered attractive to guys and girls, and is usually seen as a badass, very strong, and always voted a top 3 character in popularity polls. For example, Naruto had Itachi, Full Metal Alchemist had Mustang, One Punch Man had Genos, and so on. Attack on Titan's character that would be viewed as this would be Levi Ackerman. Made exactly the type of debut you'd expect from this type of character in his anime appearance. Shows up, has a few badass lines, demonstrates his overwhelming strength, and then cut to black. The thing I'd like to contrast from the likes of these types of characters before I get more in depth on Levi is his willingness to follow orders. Most of these badass characters always rebel, do things on their own, and don't tend to do well in groups. Levi is quite the opposite. A lot of what we see in Season 1 is a huge surprise from what we all would have expected. We have all been conditioned to believe that this character will condone of Eren's free spirit and rebellious nature, but it's quite the opposite. He's constantly teaching Eren, other than how to clean of course, on how trusting your comrades and putting faith in others. Levi trusts any plan that Eren comes up with, but it doesn't necessarily mean he fully agrees with it or doesn't have questions about it. When the female Titan was chasing the Levi squad, Eren was ready to transform and take her on, but Levi stopped him from this and made him truly question if that was the right thing. Levi was given orders, and he put trust that the orders were for the better, and as we see a few seconds later, it seems to have worked in the moment. Sure, I do believe if Eren was to transform, him and the Levi squad would have had a great chance, but at this point in time, Eren can't control his Titan. Levi follows Eren's commands all the way until Season 4, where he follows Eren's suicide strategy and takes down the Beast Titan thanks to Eren's guidance and plan. Eren seems to put so much faith in the scouts due to Levi's lessons he gives to him. This was a fresh take on the typical badass male character in shonen anime. This was by far my favorite part about him. Now, let's get started. Levi debuted briefly in Episode 4, Season 1, but really made his mark and a true debut with the rest of the cast in Episode 9, Season 1. You can say his real debut didn't even come from the mainline anime. It actually came from the OVAs, which are called Original Video Animations. The short videos that shed some light on the background of some characters and little story explanations and expansions you didn't even know you wanted or needed. For example, we found out that Jean lived a pretty normal life as a kid, which is great knowing that there's a character without the typical sad story. Levi had 2 OVAs dedicated to him in his beginnings before joining the Scouts. It was OVA number 4 and 5 named A Choice with No Regrets. These OVAs explained exactly why Levi said what he did to Eren during the chase from the female Titan. He was born in the slums of the underground where he almost died of starvation, but was luckily taken in by Kenny Ackerman, who taught him how to survive. Levi made a few friends in the underground, but seems he wasn't made for the underground with the skills he possessed. The Scouts were after him due to this knowledge. The OVAs are great too because they show just how strong Mike and Erwin are. Mike was second to Levi in strength, and Erwin was the commander, of course. They were both able to take Levi head-on and bully him. The anime didn't get to show how strong either were, and maybe Erwin got a little more justice, but they really did Mike dirty with the Beast Titan introduction. Erwin and the Scouts looked like villains taking Levi in, and Levi saw his friends die, and that was his Ackerman moment. Mikasa saw Eren almost die, and Levi saw his friends die. He then learned to live with no regrets and to follow the orders even if he didn't agree. Yeah, if you haven't watched the OVAs, I suggest you watch them. Low commitment and plenty of extra perspective into the show. I always wondered where he got the clean freak thing from though. Is it because he lived in a wasteland for so much of his childhood? Was it because the Scouts put his face into the mud? Is it all the blood he gets from cutting up Titans? Man keeps an area like it's a 5-star hotel. When we see him in Episode 4, Season 1, we obviously found out how strong he was. He's definitely a man who believes in the cause. He always wants their comrades' deaths to have meaning. He tells his comrade before he dies that his death brought up change and moving forward to the Scouts' goal of freedom and change. When we zoom over to episode 9, Eren gets Levi confused with Mikasa due to his Titan carving skills. We don't know at this point that Levi is an Ackerman, like Mikasa, and we have only seen her abilities at this point. When the troops are ready to take Eren, Armin, and Mikasa out, they stated that Mikasa was worth 100 of them. She was on a class of her own and finished first in her class. Once Levi came into the fray, we found out quick that there is strong and then there's godly strong. The female Titan fight made this very clear. Levi isn't one to act without questioning or come to a conclusion. He isn't a rash, spontaneous guy. When Eren transforms into a Titan, he doesn't immediately view him as evil. He even helps him in a weird way by beating his ass in front of everyone to make a point that he can control Eren and stop him if he ever wanted or needed to do so. We obviously find quick he has a unique personality. He isn't exactly static or monotone or stale. He has an interesting sense of humor and is very sarcastic. It's funny later how he gets annoyed with his height. Fun fact, he's listed as 5'3". The man is humanity's strongest and he's shorter than the majority of the cast. The man is a midget. His battle strengths and emotional perseverance are strongly shown during the female Titan encounter. Levi saw his comrades' bodies and it didn't even faze him in the slightest. When he caught up to Mikasa, he was ready to fight the Titan, not for revenge, but rather to save Eren since he was seen as humanity's hope. But once again, he doesn't act out of emotional impulses like Eren or Mikasa. Mikasa doesn't show much emotion until it has something to do with Eren. Mikasa acts recklessly and almost gets killed, but Levi saves her while retrieving Eren. And Levi is extremely smart. Mikasa is going for the kill, but Levi doesn't want to interact with it any further since he is right, they don't know all the tricks under its sleeves. We already found out that it can harden at any point in time, make it hard to cut. It can call out for Titans, and apparently it's a human transformer like Eren. Levi executed the mission in retrieving Eren, and that's all he wanted. He didn't go for revenge by going any further, just did what he needed and dipped. You see a glimpse of emotion when they dump the bodies, and Levi has a concerned face when they dump Petra's body specifically, the girl who admired Levi the most. Personally, I don't see them as a relationship, but rather really just admiration for his skills as a scout. This pretty much wraps up Season 1 for him, since he breaks his ankle saving Mikasa from being an idiot. He can't help when Annie invades the inner walls due to being hurt, but once they stop the female Titan in the walls, Levi asks if it was all worth it. We see how many people died and all the destruction caused with plenty of buildings being torn down. Levi always asks Garvin before doing something that will sacrifice plenty if it's worth it, and says soon there won't be anyone to see the changes they bring since everyone will be dead by then. Season 2 is his least amount of on-screen time. He is still injured, and he's only on camera really to show Nick exactly what being silent has done for mankind inside these walls. Pastor Nick thought of the walls as God, and knew a little about what was going on and kept it a secret. But Levi, even after everything which he states in Season 3 when Nick gets killed, he respects that he was a man of his convictions. He can respect someone even as scummy as they are if they stick to what they believe in. But Levi truly cares for mankind and shows Nick how they all live. And he can obviously understand and feel the way they do, since he was in an even worse situation than plenty of them. Season 3 started off with the distrust of the Scouts and humans versus humans. We have seen the show up until this point as humans versus Titans, but now it's become humans versus Titans and humans. Jean was unable to come to terms with this awful idea, but Levi, he doesn't get fazed by anything, so he has no problem getting his hands as dirty as they need in order to achieve the goal of the Scouts. I guess being a scout, how can you be fazed by anything? You've seen it all at this point, to be honest. Levi shows he isn't just a Titan Godslayer either, he is also able to decimate humans as well. This is really a don't bring a gun to a sword fight meme. Levi kills Kenny's MP squad with regular ODM gear, and it's crazy how quick of a thinker he is. Levi was able to dive into a bar and hide underneath the bartender's table, knowing well that he would have a gun and use this knowledge to surprise Kenny. But Kenny gives it up to him, saying how smart and cunning he is. When you make it out of the underground the way Levi did, you would find any and every way on how to make it out of any environment or situation. Amazing that Levi, Kenny, and Mikasa are part of the same clan, and yet none of them are too similar. Levi and Kenny are like night and day in their differences. Kenny's goal is so self-centered and he's very upbeat, whereas Levi is very team and self-sacrificial and calm. The Ackerman's ability to follow through with a goal is almost scary. Kenny will do anything to see his goal through and was tunnel-driven after talking to Yuri. Mikasa will do anything to keep Eren safe, and Levi will do anything to see the scouts succeed in whatever way Eren sees fit. Kenny gives a great monologue on how everyone is drunk on something. I don't think Levi's is as obvious as Mikasa, Eren, and Armin, but he'll do anything for the scouts and live by the scouts' way. By the time we get over the scouts versus MP arc, we then head into one of the most crucial and fight-heavy arcs in the show. The scouts versus Reiner, Bertolt, and Zeke. You have to feel bad for Levi because every time he's in charge of people and forms a squad, everyone dies but Levi. Levi's OG squad with his 2 friends from the underground die, then his squad during the female Titan arc, then his squad that fought the MPs, then the squad that fought Zeke up until this point. So at this point, I'd rather just work by myself because this has become a reoccurring theme. Levi makes the final stand with Erwin against the Beast Titan. There are 3 fights going on at this time. Eren and Armin versus the Colossal, Jean, Connie, Sasha, and Mikasa versus the Armored, and Levi and Erwin versus the Beast. The Beast Titan is the smartest and most offensive Titan wielder out of the 3. Zeke is on a class of his own and was able to whoop Reiner's ass with ease. He wipes out most of the scouts too. When the scouts are on death's door, Erwin comes up with a plan to stop the Beast Titan. And when Erwin is having self-doubt because he wants to reach the basement but stop the Beast Titan, Levi tells him to lead the scouts to hell one last time. He knows this is a suicide plan, and he goes through with the plan that Erwin gave him. In the end, Levi stops the Beast Titan, but doesn't sadly get a chance to use this Titan serum on him. His goal at this point in time has become obvious, and he even states it towards the end of the show in manga by stating that he will fulfill the promise he made to Erwin. His goal is to kill the Beast Titan. Levi versus the Beast Titan becomes more of a meme than Eren versus Reiner later on. And honestly, it keeps getting amazing just how strong Levi is. It's like characters in One Punch Man seeing how strong Saitama is. Levi seems to one-up himself every time. First, it's the fight versus the female Titan, then versus the MPs and Kenny, then versus the Beast Titan, then versus Marley and the Jaws Titan, and then versus the Beast Titan Part 2. The Ackermans are like the Senju or Uchiha clan in Naruto, and Levi is Madara or Hashirama, or I guess the both combined. Now I'm coming to an end point of the character analysis, and we've covered a lot of seasons 1 through 3. This video can easily be 1 hour long, but I'd rather this not be a month-long project. We are coming up on the final season here, so this is where the spoilers will be. You've been warned. A lot of the characters grow up from seasons 3 to 4, and Levi looks absolutely no different. When the plan was to capture the Beast Titan, you can tell Levi did it with the clear intent of wanting to kill him. You can see it on his face, and Zeke even states this when he's on the blimp. Levi once again gets tasked a full regiment and is basically babysitting Zeke until they figure out what to do with him. We have figured out at this point in time that normal Eldians are able to be turned into Titans, and only Titans that get spinal fluid of a Titan shapeshifter are able to turn back. The realization of this for Levi doesn't really faze him too much, but he does hate the fact that he's basically been slicing up people he's been trying to free and save. When Zeke transforms all of them, Levi hesitates for a second, but then like Erwin, he thinks of the bigger picture. He kills them with ease and catches up to Zeke. Erwin was always able to sacrifice anyone and everyone for the goals of the scouts. His ethics and morals are what made him a devil, but all the scouts see him. He was just a necessary devil. It's like business and sports. You hate the business side of sports, but in order for sports to be a thing, you need the business aspect of it. Levi has already killed plenty of his comrades, whether a Titan or an MP. Zeke really had to be stupid to think he wouldn't have killed all of them. The scouts are this far in the game, and there's nothing that would stop him at this point in time. The one thing that seemed out of character for Levi was how he contained Zeke after beating him. If Zeke was going to die either way, why wouldn't he just tick off the trap so they both would die? He would have at least had a better chance of survival since he's a Titan with regeneration. Levi has made plenty of smart, quick decisions, and this move was absolutely stupid on his part. The end of the show in manga becomes who is the true villain. The Titans were initially the enemy, then more and more there was internal strife with humans in the walls becoming the enemy as well, and then Marley becoming the enemies who made all of this happen. We went 3 seasons viewing the perspective of Eldia, so we see them as the victims and heroes. But then we see Marley's point of view and see everyone get portrayed as the victim. Eren, the main protagonist in Season 4, gets viewed more and more as the antagonist. Zeke was always seen as the enemy, and it seems Eren is working with Zeke, so no one knows who's who and what is what. Levi starts to question if saving Eren was the right thing to do over and over and over. He wonders if Eren was the key to the future and if all the scouts died in vain. Protecting Eren was essentially protecting the scouts' vision. It definitely does feel like what the hell is going on in my head hurts moment all of Season 4 with so many betrayals and side views. No one knows, but Eren, he isn't siding with Zeke. Eren had his own idea, which was to eradicate everyone outside of Eldia. And to be honest, it was more or less to give Mikasa the chance to kill him so it could bring the end of the Titans. No one knows this but him, so Zeke and the rest of the scouts want to kill him because they don't think killing the rest of the world is the answer. The scouts realize that Marley and themselves have been in this world, and seeking revenge will never answer anything. Levi knows ending Zeke and Eren's life would bring about the change the scouts wanted, and when he slices Zeke's head, he feels he truly accomplished his goal, which was Eren's goal, which was the scouts' goal. This was basically his he can die in peace moment. At the end, when the Titans all perish, Levi can see all of the dead scouts and feel at peace believing he accomplished the goal from Season 1. He puts his hand on his heart and dedicates his heart one last time. He never strays from the goal of doing whatever the scouts needed of him. He stays true to himself and manages to do stronger and more amazing combat feats that can top the previous. Levi was a character that lived from beginning to end, which is very surprising because very few did that. My favorite part of him, like I stated very early in the video, was him being a badass character that actually followed orders and rules. Long live Levi, and this has been my Levi Ackerman character analysis. Like and subscribe for more Attack on Titan, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, and all anime content.